Okay, my brothers, I'm back with I think the last one. I think this is part 6, if I'm not mistaken, but it's about man and institutions. I just touched a little bit about the man and the woman in parts, I think 4 and 5, and 6 will be the man and his dealings with institutions. In a society, you have institutions of family, economics, education, religion, and government. Those are usually like the 5 institutions. If I miss one, then I'm mistaken. Apologize. But those are the 5 institutions, and that's where society revolves around. So man has set up his infrastructure in each nation that we go to. Man has set up his rules, his customs, his mores, his folkways. All of these things go to create a what you call a functioning society. And then man has been purposed to do good things, but since the fall of man and since the state of man has become to know the knowledge of good and evil, and I'm not going to talk about whether that was true or false in the book of Genesis about the tree of the knowledge of good, whether that's fictitious or not. I'm rolling with it. I'm gonna roll with it. So let's say man has fallen, man has taken this sinful this posture. Now you can see the wickedness that he can do in each of these institutions to control man. So now we're dealing with man to man. We dealt with man and woman in a short overview, but now we're gonna deal with man and man. Man looks at minerals. Man looks at things that he can build his nation with. Man looks to see what other man has that he doesn't have. Man gets a military together to try to go and take what he sees somebody else have. Not sit down at the table and negotiate. Hey, look, I got big group of potatoes over here, and you guys don't have potatoes, but you guys have diamonds, and we got potatoes. We have oranges, and so let's see if we can negotiate a trade. I respect you, you respect me, and you have plenty of this, we have plenty of this. So let's kind of barter, respect each other. No, they don't do that. They get their military together, come in and take over your area, beat your people down, kill them, shoot them up. And so now you got to deal with man and his wickedness. Rather than building a system or a society or a world with a global respect for all nations, they want to try to subdue and conquer and control those nations, control all the trade routes, control all the trading ports, land grabs, grabbing this land over here, cultivating for their own nation, going in and raising crops, flying the crops out of a poor nation and flying it over to feed your people, but to hell with the people where they came from. Milking the cow, but not feeding the cow. This has been happening in Africa for years. So the men in Africa, in the African continent, really need to step up to the plate and start really running your countries and running your nations. And you need to unite in order to keep from getting your people beat down like that. Now, this might be a message that is very undesirable for those who want to exploit it, but it's only fair. The people who don't want to exploit it, the people who want to do it, you should be saying the same thing. But anyway, man and man, how man deals with man. Man looks at man and says, I can use this man as a slave. Man goes in and takes over that man. Man looks at woman and says, I can use her to sell sex. Man goes in and takes over that. And this is a message to you pimp dudes. I don't like you. I never have. I don't see nothing in a pimp daddy. I don't see nothing in that. I'm not going to say I haven't been on them streets. I'm not going to say that I haven't walked a chalk line. But I'm saying that when you use your people, when we use our people to gain monetary income at the expense of those people's going out and selling themselves, you wrong, bro. You wrong and you will burn in hell. I don't have no good message for you. You pimps. You guys are dangerous, man. You know what? You know what it tells me? If we, and I'm going to put myself in this, because I'm not going to just point at you. I'm going to put myself in it. If we as brothers cannot stand to the occasion to fight a good fight and to wage battle to get our people on a good footing and to get our people in a position of economic flow, social flow, educational flow, where we're doing okay. But we instead don't fight that fight because the enemy seems to be too powerful for you to fight, but you go and turn on your own people and start putting them out there to get you money, to bring you money in by selling their body and by using them as forced labor that's unauthorized. You a weak man. You a devil's, you Satan's man. And you have nothing coming good in your life. You might have money for now, but your days of turmoil are shortly around the corner. Pitiful, man. You're selling drugs to your people. You're selling because you can't wage a good fight with the true enemy and look that enemy in his eyes and say, rather than me go down like that, I'd rather die fighting you than to be killing and maiming and poisoning and exploiting my own people. See, you need to be able to fight the fight that has to be set before you. And this is the course that we were in. This is where we are. There's men all throughout scriptures, all throughout history that had to fight. And they had to protect their people. And if you're a Christian, you're saying you don't believe in fighting, you don't believe in, there's ways to fight without using armament. When you're dealing with wicked man, brother, you have to decide between you and your God, you and your people, what is important and what lesser evil you have to do in order to safeguard you from a greater evil. You might not want to fight. You may not want to cut. You may not want to shoot. You may not want to do war with no man. But you might have to. And any man that says that he loves his people and he lets people just come in and do what they want to his people does not love his people. And any man that sees the potential of that happening and does not prepare himself for that, you're not worth your people. If you see the threat that's out there and you do not prepare yourself for the threat, you have already betrayed your people. At least go down swinging, at least try. They'll say, my brother fell, but he tried. But don't go down like a little girl, man. Don't go down like a little girl. Pastors, I'm talking to you too. You protect your people the way that you know how. But you don't let anybody just come in and pillage your land, take over your economics. If they are an awfully powerful nation, you better have fight them. You better give them some kind of a fight. You better not lay down, because you're not worth your people. You don't even need to be in leadership. You're just a puppet. And you should be seeing the threat and preparing yourself for potential threat down the road because of the kind of evil men that are out there. See, that's something I have a hard time with nations that sit up and keep going in and out of slavery, in and out of bondage, in and out of coups, in and out of just bondage, just in and out, in and out, in and out. Never climbing up to a point where you can now have some respect among other nations with leverage and power as your leverage. And be a man and child of God. Some people think the only way you can be a man and child of God is not fight back. Man, you ain't no leader. You can't be. You can't do it. It's not realistic. So if you're thinking on an individual level, where you're a Christian and you're trying to preach for God, cool. Individual. One-on-one, turn the other cheek, try and bring whatever. But when it comes to a national agenda and a national level, international threat, national threat, you have to have your armies. Look at Israel. I'm just saying Israel as an example. Which one of those Jews have turned the other cheek? Or which one of those Jews says thou shalt not kill in the Old Testament? Which one of those Jewish people that you see up there following thou shalt not kill? But yet they say those are God's people. That's what a lot of you Christians, those are God's people. But which one of them are not killing? Thou shalt not following that law, that commandment. They got their women in military and their men because they're a small state. And they have to look at the national defense of what they protect. Not to say they're right or wrong. I'm not going into whether they're right or wrong politically. I'm just saying the principle is they're trying to protect that nation. Whether they're doing right or wrong, they're trying to keep a military presence and assertiveness. And that's the same thing you have to do all over this world, whether you toting this Bible or not. And some of these preachers talking about you can't carry a knife or a weapon and be a Christian too. Well, you got those kind of guys out there. You keep listening to guys like that, you be back on the plantation. That's all I can say. Them guys are limited. Those guys, they don't understand nationhood. They don't understand national agenda. They only understand one-on-one individualistic ministry. They don't understand the security and the safeguard of a nation. You have to have military surrounding your perimeters and your borders. They don't understand that. They are what you call insulated and isolated and encapsulated in a little cocoon of a utopia that they wish that they could have, but it ain't the real world. They're unrealistic Christians. Fantasy. See? Got to get out of that. I'm not believing in waging war, but if a man brings war to your doorstep, go on, serving. You say, oh, brother, you sound so violent. No, I'm not violent, brother. It says, have peace with all men as much as lieth in you. My wish is to have peace. My wish is to have tranquility. My wish is to have love. I prefer to sit down at a table and negotiate. I prefer to not throw armaments. But if that's what his language is and that's what the guy believes and that's what the guy wants to push, then you within your God-fearing right to have to defend what you believe. If he wants you to die for what you believe, now I'm talking man to man here. This session is man to man. If he wants you to die for what you believe, he will have as equal of a chance to die for what he believes too. It's a two-way street here. I'm not at, you can say, Brother Soldier, you really stepping out. No, I'm not. I'm saying on a national level, when your people are about ready to go into slavery, you sacrifice everything, as Ho Chi Minh said, before you ever go into a life of slavery. You don't lay down to that. That stuff has caused a lot of damage over the years. And so if you want to go back down that road, keep talking like that. Keep singing. Keep talking in tongue. Keep talking about we shall overcome. And I'm going to see how many times you're going to be able to get out of this. Because, man, this is no joke. You just prayed to God that the angels are there and that the angels will keep peace coming your way. But you prepare for battle in case that infidel, that enemy does not want to respect you and your people. Okay? You just get ready because All of it's ugly, but it's a lesser evil that you might have to do to prevent a greater evil. But let's just say that, pray that we not go into that temptation, but just be ready. So this is the end of the part of man and his institutions, and that's just an overview. Love you. Peace, love. God bless.